On April 16, 2025, Ms. Linda Page and fellow Hyde Park residents attended the Chicago City Council meeting with one goal: to speak out against the harms caused by the Lakeshore Hotel shelter and to challenge the city's plans to renew its contract this coming June. They came with lived experience, with concerns about safety, transparency, and accountability, but instead of being heard, they were silenced.
The city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, as part of their misguided and illegal sanctuary state and sanctuary city policies, are using our tax dollars to fund permanent migrant shelters in our communities, including on the south side in the neighborhoods of Kenwood, Woodlawn, and Hyde Park. This includes 2 shelters right here near the Newport condominiums in Hyde Park. And there are plans to demolish apartment buildings nearby Woodlawn and build additional homeless shelters for migrants, robbing that neighborhood of much-needed rental housing. Just think about that. The city is using taxpayer dollars to reduce the number of apartments for low-income Chicagoans to build homeless shelters for illegal migrants. Now that's like tearing down grocery stores to open food pantries. But let's be clear, we are not against legal immigration. We are against illegal immigration, especially since it's funded by our taxpayer dollars and works against our interests and our quality of life. These shelters are sites of illegal activity, including crime, drugs, human trafficking, gang activity, gang recruiting, and prostitution. From 2023 until now, in 2025, these shelters near the Newport condominium right here were filled with over 300 illegal migrants transported here from the southern border and Texas. Chicago is now in the top 5 cities harboring illegal immigrants, with over 420,000 and rising because of our sanctuary city status. As of March 2025, the U.S. had over 18 million illegal immigrants living in this country. By aiding and abetting illegal migrants, our state and our city governments are violating Title 8 of U.S. Code 1324. And people in these shelters are not only in the U.S. illegally, but they have committed additional crimes since their arrival in our state and our city. Our elected officials also violated zoning laws, converting this former La Quinta Hotel into a migrant shelter. And we were lied to by the city officials who told us that this would all be temporary. This will be a temporary shelter. And now, 2 years later, the state and the city intend to make this a permanent shelter under the guise of a homeless shelter, when we know they have and will continue to have illegal migrants here, as they plan to increase the occupancy from 300 to over 750 beginning in June of this year, regardless of what this building is called. Through deportation and making our city and state safer, our elected officials, including Mayor Johnson, the City Council, Governor Pritzker, the State Assembly, have continued to jeopardize the safety of our families, our children, our elderly residents, and using our taxpayer dollars to do it, while the Trump administration is actively deporting tens of thousands of illegal immigrants, particularly those who have committed additional crimes. Our state and local officials are actively and intentionally obstructing those efforts, actively working against our safety, our quality of life, our economic well-being. Hundreds of millions of dollars of our taxpayer money are funding these obstructionist policies, jeopardizing our communities, increasing criminal activity in our neighborhoods, draining and overtaking our educational, social service, housing, and healthcare systems, all to support criminality, all the while threatening the financial solvency of our city. As of January 2025, our Chicago bond rating has been downgraded to nearly junk bond status due to these irresponsible and lawless policies of our city and state elected officials. Therefore, as members of Chicago Flips Red, we must move against those who are moving against us as they support and fund lawlessness. This situation is not our fault, but it is our fight, and we will not look away as this evil grows around us and in high places and those in our government and our city and state. To do nothing is to allow the situation to worsen our quality of life for ourselves, our families, our children, our grandchildren, and those who will come after us. We attended the city council meeting on April 16th, and we were denied our constitutional right to speak on our own behalf in these situations. The state assembly is going to be voting in late May or early June on a fiscal year 26 state budget that includes an increase from the current state funding of this shelter of $20 million a year, state money, to $90 million a year of our taxpayer dollars. They want to increase the number of people in this shelter from 300 to over 750 in June. And again, we demand that these shelters be closed immediately. We demand the city cancel plans to tear down apartments in Woodlawn to build more shelters. We want the illegal aliens deported immediately. We want those homeless Chicagoans in this shelter to be relocated to the shelter in our city or vacant rental housing scattered across the city. And by the way, if you deport the illegal aliens, you will have plenty of room in our homeless shelters that we already have. We want the hotel owner to sell this property or keep it and convert it back to a lakefront hotel. This is a lakefront hotel. Instead, he is now facing possible prosecution under the violation of Title 8 of U.S. Code 1324, as he is also involved in aiding and abetting illegal aliens. The city took advantage of the downturn in the hotel owner's profits due to COVID and offered to pay him $150,000 a month in taxpayer dollars to convert this hotel into a shelter for illegal migrants. The owner agreed and has allegedly been getting paid by the city and now the state. Taxpayer dollars. These are taxpayer dollars going to fund illegal activity. And again, it violates Title 8 of the U.S. Code of 1324. So instead of helping a business owner who's struggling get a business loan or help a struggling business owner to sell his business, what did the city and state do? No, they gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. Take the money, open the shelter for illegal migrants, or go out of business. This deal may in fact be bribery. Worse yet, we have reason to believe that the owner has allegedly hired illegal migrants to work in the shelter. Hiring illegal aliens is another violation of Title 8 of the U.S. Code 1324. So he may now be in legal jeopardy, just as our government officials and bureaucrats are. They all may face fines and even jail time because of it. Regardless of what they call this building, it is and will continue to be a shelter for illegal migrants who are the reason for the record homelessness in Chicago and nationally. In other words, It is our state and our city sanctuary policies that have caused this homelessness crisis in our city, our state, and our country. Deportation is the answer.
The people of Hyde Park have the right to be heard, to question how taxpayer dollars are spent, to demand better for their community. Because when the city refuses to listen, we raise our voices louder. All hands on deck.